What's up, fam? Extraordinary Life with Elijah. And today we're going to grip it and rip it. God is doing a lot of stuff, so I am recording a bunch of videos today. So you're going to see a bunch of videos forthcoming that are all going to be in this chair. God is speaking, and so we're just going to start ripping these things off. My brother's word is paying me in spades. God is looking for your perfect heart, not for perfected videos. Thank you, Zachary. One of the things that God continues to grow out of these videos is that perfect love drives out all fear, but victory in love vaccinates vision from fear. So a beautiful thing about facing death every day, that picking up your cross and following Jesus, planting your life as a seed of God's revelation in death, choosing the responsibility of the cross, letting the Father exercise the responsibility of the reward, that choosing that every day, facing death, vaccinates vision from fear. Jesus' ways are incredibly foolish in the world's ways. From the mind of man, his ways are very foolish. If you think about the upper room, when Jesus has just raised from the dead, he told his disciples plainly, I'm going to be handed over to the Pharisees, the chief priests, and the rulers of the law. They're going to try me, crucify me, I'm going to be buried, and on the third day, I'm going to rise again. His disciples didn't hear what he was saying. They didn't believe him. And when it happened, they all betrayed him. They ran away. They were disillusioned. They had no idea what was going on. And so they faded into the shadows. Jesus raises from the dead, reveals himself to the women at the tomb. They tell his disciples that he is raised from the dead. Go to Jerusalem and I will meet you there. But his disciples don't believe him. It says that Jesus' disciples were hiding in a room with the door locked because of fear, and Jesus just pops through the wall, through their locked doors, and says, "Peace be with you." Jesus' ways are super foolish, super offensive to the mind of flesh. Have a little compassion, Jesus. These people have PTSD. They've been traumatized. They watched you die. They have locked doors behind solid walls because they're afraid, and you just walk through their barriers, raised from the dead, and say, "Peace be with you"? That doesn't seem very sensitive, brah. But you see, Jesus' ways are beyond perfection. To all perfection, I can see a limit, but your ways are boundless and they have none. Perfection limits the solutions of heaven. Jesus comes to his disciples in the transcendence of perfection and releases the solution of heaven's peace by walking through their walls, walking through their barred doors, and saying, "Peace be with you." Now, the disciples were not having any of that, and I understand that, rightfully so. They're processing through a filter of fear. So Jesus invites them into the impartation of receiving his victory by saying, "Investigate my wounds. Stick your fingers here in the holes in my hands, in the hole in my side. Investigate my torn back. Investigate the scars on my face." Jesus had scars, but scars are the evidence of a healed wound. It says that after the disciples had investigated Jesus' wounds, they were overjoyed. They were able to receive the comfort and the peace that Jesus had for them after they had investigated the badges of his authority over death. Victory over death vaccinates vision from fear. 12 disciples who weren't understanding what Jesus was saying, and that one of them killed himself and it was reduced to 11, and now they're hiding in an upper room with the victory of heaven behind them, not utilizing it, are vaccinated from fear when they engage the risen Jesus who has authority over death. All of his scars, all of the wounds of death and sin and darkness doing its worst to him, bearing testimony that death, darkness, sin, the devil, and all the powers of hell had immediate access to Jesus's unclothed body to rip, shred, and tear him to bits. You can't say that death, darkness, and sin didn't have access to him, that somehow he stayed above it all. He had the scars in his body to show the injustice, and yet Jesus pops up out of the grave like a daisy and says, "Peace be with you." Victory vaccinates vision from fear. You're watching this video on Sunday, September 10th, 2020 at 10:50 a.m. MST. The world is spinning out of control right now in 2020 over fear of the coronavirus. Fear even within the church, those who profess faith in Christ, who are to be indwelt by the very Spirit of God, are giving in to fear. We're going to rise above. Jesus is coming to say, "Peace be with you." And I'm already receiving it. And now it is jumping the gap 3.5 years into the future to proclaim our forward movement and what God is doing in releasing the fullness of his heart in new ways to us. Not next. Next is the logical prediction and projection of past experience. No, he's doing something new. When God does something new, you can't evaluate it or understand it by past experience. It's the birthed baby that just looks around the world, trying to figure out what it's looking at. It has zero constructs by which to understand the encounter that it's having in its emotions that's being stimulated by what it's seeing and hearing and feeling. That is new. There is no experience previous by which to understand new. And it's for our protection so that no man, including myself, can say, "Ooh, I saw this coming. I knew this was coming. I saw it from afar." God says, "No, you did not. I am doing something new so that no one can say, I saw that coming." This is the revelation of my goodness and my glory through my grace to blow your minds and expand your understanding of who I am. God is doing something new, and the vision is the same. I recorded it right here, January 1st, 2020. And I said that the vision is to serve to please my Father's heart through the exercise of my gifts to impart grace to you to know him more, that we're pressing into seeking God and his kingdom, his righteousness, to receive him more as our inheritance. Who have I in heaven but you? My Father is my very great reward, and he longs to impart more of himself to us. The beauty in facing death together. The beauty in picking up your cross daily to follow Jesus. The beauty of planting your life in the death of Christ to receive his resurrected life, choosing to exercise your responsibility to die daily and receive the reward of our Father daily, is that victory vaccinates vision from fear. We weren't fighting a physical virus back in 2020. We were fighting a spiritual virus of fear. And those who choose to die to themselves, to lose their lives for the sake of Christ, and to plant their lives in his finished work of the cross, are vaccinated from the effects of fear that would hamstring vision. Perfect love casts out all fear, and Jesus has invited us into a day-by-day expansion of vaccination in his love and experiencing the victory of his resurrected life over death. My declaration here in Sunday, September 10th, 2020, is being born out of faith exercised in the midst of a worldwide crisis and growing panic. We're sailing right into it. And Jesus is saying, "Will you lay down with me, Elijah, and rest?" I have said yes. And out of that rest, out of that place of sleeping with Jesus, I'm making a video in a dream of the future. You're seeing the manifest expression of my dreams with Jesus from Saturday, March 14th, 2020. While the world is coming unscrewed, I'm sitting in a quiet place in the midst of the storm with Jesus, dreaming with him of 3.5 years into the future. I have no fears, no worries that you're watching this video with me. Victory vaccinates vision from fear. If you subscribe to what I'm doing, hit the button. Hit it and then get it. Hit the bell as well so that you get notified with the new content. And if you loved this video, hit the thumbs down button. I pray blessings on our lives together. I love you lots. And I'll see you in many more videos. And now, with it still rolling. I love doing that. Kind of shanked it on my last one, but you know, I am making videos for the future. It's kind of hard. You should try sometime. Not impossible. Faith makes all impossible things possible. But it does require effort. What's up, fam? Oh, I did it again. I'm telling you, so much stuff in my mind, it makes it hard to think. What's up, fam? Extraordinary Life with Elijah. And today, I asked how things would be exceeded from the moment of Extraordinary Life with Elijah graphic reveal. Well, God has a good way of blowing minds. You see, his glory increases into glory. And so that means that the next demonstration of his goodness and glory is going to surpass his last one. But in that, in the moment of him revealing his glory, it's the pinnacle. You tracking? It's the pinnacle. And so there's this experience that I have over and over and over that says, this is it. God's glory will never be surpassed. This is his pinnacle. I don't know how to go forward here. I could die right now, and this would be enough for me. God is able to do exceedingly abundantly more than I can think, ask, or imagine.